right, here we go. So we'll figure out when the crew members are able to see us.
Yeah, it's technology sitting there trying to watch the magic box to get the notification.
Looks like it's about 30 seconds behind. So crew members, if you're hearing this, or seeing this, I don't think you are yet. But welcome.
Yeah, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the support. We're trying to figure out all this technology stuff. How we're streaming to Patreon, how we're trying to get things hooked up with YouTube as well. And I'm not seeing anything on my end yet, at least on the YouTube side. Which is odd because in the past when we've gone live, it's been live, So it's
Well,
gone
you
live.
have to be a crew member to be able to see it on Patreon. So I'm seeing it now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if the patrons are seeing it, that's the biggest thing. Guys, if you're there listening, thanks for working with us as we work through some of this technical stuff.
Yeah.
Do us a huge favor. Throw us some type of thumbs up, kudos, something. If you guys are listening and you're on, just so we can kind of get some feedback, because we can still see that. We can still monitor the comments and stuff like that. So it is partially interactive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're up and running.
Okay.
So how about on the Warhol page? You see anything?
I'm not seeing it, man. I am not seeing it, which is odd. So, and I don't know if there's something, and again, guys, we're trying to figure some stuff out. So I don't know if there's a lag, delay. Hey, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm seeing you.
I got it now.
Okay.
All right. So cool. Yeah.
I'm
We're
sure
up
there's a little bit of a delay, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna get started here. A little bit of cleanup for some housekeeping for crew members. Welcome. If you're watching this as we're doing it or afterwards, welcome. This is live. This is something that's going to be exclusive for only a few folks. This behind the scenes production and recording of our shows, and we got a pretty good one today. I think it's very relevant right now for sure. And plus we get to interact. Really, that's the big thing. What can we do to interact with our crew members? Because we can't thank you enough and can't give you enough content and other ways to reach out and engage in this community. So yeah, super excited about it. And Rick, I think again, it's just another thing that we can do, and it's for us too. We enjoy engaging with the crew members and seeing them and speaking with them and texting and chatting. We had our Zoom call last night. That's up on the page. So if you want to check that out, you have to be in one of those tier members, but the free membership of the all access package, the trial, you can also do it and see that stuff too. So
yeah,
it's big stuff.
No, absolutely. And it's, if you kind of new to the show, just tuning in, new crew member, whatever the case may be, we're trying to figure out technology, right? So we finally got it to where StreamYard is allowing us to live stream across different platforms, especially on the Patreon side. So how can we get some interactions going? So again, if you guys are tuned in, throw something in the chat. We want to try to make this as interactive as we can. But again, we'll look for those comments kind of, if you got something as the conversation's going on, hey, throw it out there. We'll try to address it. But again, there's some figuring out. So for all of you tuning in, greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, Rick, I know, kind of get into work mode here. We're going to talk about, the conversations that were always being had by Charlie Kirk's events, and how it's a damn shame that those things are going to be changed forever.
Mhm.
But I think, we both agree that I think a lot of these conversations are going to go up. And here's another thing too. I agree that many of these things, um, I think you have to call some of these folks out on the mat. You have to call some of these things. We reposted a couple of things on some social about the View. It's like,
Yeah.
they're not, I believe that they don't want to see anybody get gunned down. I believe that. But the problem is you can't say that after you've been going on with this rhetoric and this other stuff, and now say, oh no, there's no place in this world for this. Well, wait a minute. You're spewing all this stuff about how terrible some people are, and some lunatic acts on it, and now you're surprised.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You just can't do it.
No, and the problem is you look at, especially on the Dem side, they've just been spouting hate across the board.
Yes.
So you sit there and go, "Wow, I'm shocked." No, you people have been calling for it.
Yeah. Why are you
And
shocked?
and the other thing, Mark, getting into these conversations. To me, the ability to communicate starts at the house. And unfortunately, this day and age, parents, listen to me. Put them damn phones down, right? How many times you go out, Mark, to a restaurant, and here's a family of 4, and not a single word's being said. They've all got their phones in there, and there's zero conversation, right? So the art, and it is an art to conversate with another human being, is lost.
100%. Yeah.
You have all these keyboard warriors that sit there and do their stuff, or you get on there and you spout your garbage on social, but there's no interaction.
Yeah.
So when you look at what Charlie was doing, I mean, here's Charlie is going to basically the radical um, left belly of the beast at
The
these
cultivation centers, the
at these
cultivation centers.
incubators, right?
Yeah.
Incubators for leftist thought is what higher education is. Um, and he's going in there having hard conversations with people.
Yeah.
And when you sit there and listen to how he would present the information, it was clear, concise. He would, yes, on some sides go biblical when it was political stuff. Hey, man, he can go, here's my religious beliefs, if you want to say, but on the aspect of whatever the issue was, boom, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got people thinking, right? Well, you look at probably one of the big topics, which kind of confuses me actually, you look at abortion in this country, right? And Charlie just looked at it from an aspect of this. And when you listen to how he presented it, my hat's off to him, because he presented, hey, are you in favor of murder? Well, no, I'm not in favor of murder. Okay. Well, what do you think you're doing with that child? And well, it's just a fetus. Okay. Do we and then he starts using some reason and logic. Well, why do we call it a baby shower, not a fetus shower? Right. So he's just getting people engaged to get them thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's part of me, you know. Well, technically it has its own DNA, right? So he's giving people room, to do some critical thinking, which is lost. It is absolutely lost in this country. Um, but to me, it all stems back. And I think when we look back at society, 20 years from now, whatever the case may be, these damn phones, smartphones, what a scam of words. It's kind of like military intelligence, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not a smartphone.
Yeah.
It is absolutely sucking the lifeblood out of the world society. And in turn, you're sitting there looking to go, oh, I got umpteen thousand followers. Great. Hey, if you're running a business, got it. You got to market your stuff, right? I'm as guilty as that. But the time I'm putting in after getting zucked and deactivated, I'm not,
Yeah.
right? Like the return on investment isn't there. If I want to have a conversation, I'm going to conversate with somebody. And then, oh, by the way, people, think about this, right? Oh, I got umpteen gazillion followers, friends. Friends? Like Facebook friend request? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have their phone number? What do you know about these people? Right.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of fake. To me, if you've got, a circle of 3 to 5 close friends, dude, you're blessed, right?
Yeah.
That you can conversate, bounce ideas off of, keep each other in check. But we as a society need to sit there and have that hard conversation. How many
Yeah.
times have we said before, I'd love to get AOC on the show. I'd love to get her on, right? Let's hear your points. Let's express our points. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah. And I think, once we start this production of this episode, I think that's the thing. It's the conversations that are sparking all this critical thought, spending, being able to communicate with other folks in the real world, because that's a real problem, because people go up, are growing up now. We see a generation with these smartphones,
Mhm.
and they never talk to anybody. They never talk to anybody in person. They don't know how to deal with daily things by calling people on the phone and asking questions and all these other things. So I think it's good that we get into this, because that's a problem. That's a real problem. And now you can't deal with someone's words and the conversation and the points that they're making, that you are just losing your crap over it. And look, it's just amazing that these
Mhm.
folks, the young people, cannot freaking talk to each other, let
No.
alone have a critical thought conversation with somebody.
Well, it's critical thought, Mark, right? But here's the other part. There's When you look at too many people go to social to get educated,
Oh, I know.
right? To me, the social box, it's an entertainment tool 99.9% of the time,
Yeah.
right? Minimal education going out there.
Yeah.
But let's think about it. We grew up in a system where this thing was called the Dewey Decimal System. If you don't know what the Dewey Decimal is, go Google it, right? How we navigated that, I don't know. But the point being, you would have to actually physically go to a book, open that book up, do some research on that. Okay, there's, my cited works number one. Let me go find another one. I think we've lost that art.
Oh, dude.
We've lost the art of looking at multiple sources to gather our information.
Yeah.
And
I know,
you know,
man.
you look at mainstream media, that is merely the propaganda tool for the left. If you sit there and turn on any news agency, now granted, I do like Newsmax, right? I've seen Fox kind of teeter sometimes. Fox gets a little weird at times. Um, I just want the news is facts as they're known. Now, granted, can some things change? Sure. Hey, man, this happened. More to follow. Roger that.
Yeah.
But when you start injecting your views, I don't know. I don't need it. Right? You can sit there and go, President Trump is doing X. It's not your place as the anchor to go, well, I disagree. I don't like it. Dude, say that for your own time, right? Have
Yeah.
your own conversation. I just want to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So the ability to have conversations, and it's hard, right? Because you have a sender and a receiver. Are you sending information that receiver is hearing, processing, and then, oh, by the way, understands?
Yeah.
How many times have we had conversations? You didn't quite articulate it clear enough. Right? I don't quite know what you're trying to get at. Could you be a little clearer? Or think about, um, you look at doing emails, text, stuff like that. I think things get lost
Oh,
whenever you're
100%. Yeah.
whenever you're texting, right? The verbal communication, because if there's a question at that point, boom, you can fix it right then and there. I gave you a prime example. I was chatting with the company the other day. Hey, man, can you guys support this event we're doing? Here's what we're looking for. And then all the questions start rolling up. Oh, what are you looking for? What's this? What's that? Right. And so part of it was on me, merely just asking the question, hey, is this something you guys can support? But to me, it's so much easier just to have the conversation. Yep. Hey, what do you need? I'm looking for X amount of these. Roger that. What date, time frame? Here and here. Roger that. Right. Oh, hey, my calendar's a little booked. Right. Like these things are happening now versus send, receive, type. Oh, that date doesn't work for me. This doesn't work. Dude, conversate. And
Yeah.
I'm going to go back, man. I'm going to say, parents, you have to start this next generation in their ability to have critical thought. Now, are we always going to have political conversations at the dinner table? Nope. We don't need to. Hey, man, what'd you do today? Nothing. Really? Right? You got to stem them to start chatting. Hey, man, went to school. Mr. Schmuckles was teaching some garbage in history class, whatever the case may be. But it starts, the family is where everything starts at, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you can sit there and go, hey, man, no phones at the table. Let's think about it. What's a teenager need their phone at the dinner table for? They don't, right? What do I really need? Dude, I will set mine to the side. Business can wait. Hey, the 30, 45 minutes, hour, whatever we're doing for dinner, it can wait. But man, let's reinvigorate meaningful conversation in this country. Hey, if your kids are at that point, try to get some critical thinking out of them. I got it. You're going to entail your values to them. And I ain't talking about the values of these whack jobs trying to go, oh, my 1-year-old identifies as a girl when he's a boy. Really? You're putting that crap in their head, right?
Oh,
Give
dude.
give me a break.
Yeah, that's going to
And
be its
so,
own separate episode itself.
oh
Some
God,
of the things that these parents are doing, but well,
child abuse.
let's go ahead and get this bad boy rolling.
Yeah,
Hope the crew
buddy.
members enjoyed this bonus content. It's only for a select few. Some of these things, we're going to do where this is the only video that are going to be a part of it, and you have to do that by being a crew member like you guys are. And again, thank you for joining in. All right, you ready to go, Rick?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, let's do it. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Range podcast with Warhog Tactical and Kelly Defense. I am Mark Kelly from kellydefense.com, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host and friend, Rick Hogg from warhog.com. How's it going today, pal?
Man, Mark, it's going great. Super excited. We've got the capability to live stream to our patrons on YouTube. So, guys, thank you for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. Do us a huge favor. Whatever platform you listen to, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, all these things to help this crazy AI algorithm that we're battling in this super crazy tech world. And then, oh, by the way, since you're on the interweb, swing by warhog.com, kellydefense.com, and On the Range podcast. Sign up for those newsletters. That's really the way that you stay truly connected with us. Because here's the thing. I've been zucked. I've been deactivated, right? All those followers gone. Had they been signed up for the newsletter, hey guys, here we go. So it's just a layer of insurance against this big tech censorship manipulation. And plus, too, it just helps you stay better informed. Trust me, we will not inundate you with a bunch of stuff because you're looking at the email marketing guy, and I'm probably about 3 weeks behind. So, trust me, you will not see Warhog Tactical emails every single day.
Yeah. Like Rick mentioned, we are lucky enough to be live streaming for our crew membership. If you've never heard the crew membership, it is a group of individuals who are just trying to be 1% better every day. It's a good community, whether you're on a firearms training journey, fitness, whatever, relationships, anything. We have interactive video calls with the crew members. We had one last night. You can always see those, active on the page if you missed it. But you got to get that kind of stuff and interact with us directly. You have to be a crew member. So make sure you go to ontheRangePodcast.com and sign up for the free trial of the all access package. You can see everything, including our video training catalogs. But big thanks. And like Rick said, like, subscribe, and comment. But, Rick, the live stuff, the bonus stuff, we're into the show now. It's some of these things you're only going to be able to see and hear on the crew membership. So if you like this comment, they need to check it out. And thanks for mentioning that. But
Yeah, buddy.
what we're going to talk about today is the conversations and the need for conversations, but the conversations specifically like what Charlie Kirk had, hopefully those continue. But it's going to be a different world now, 100% for folks who are going to be a little more cautious, but hopefully they're still going to get out there. And what I really admired about Charlie was, we're behind a microphone and a desk, mostly because of what we do. We're trying to market our companies and things like that. And we try to pass along some good information with the crew members and those who are tuning in, viewing, or listening. But he went out into inhospitable conditions a lot of times where people totally disagreed with him to the point where they really didn't like him very much. Now, he was able to go out there and do that. And most of these conversations turned out to be very good conversations. And he was a very good speaker and debater. And it's just a great way to see how some of these critical thoughts are being lost or not even being taught in these think tanks that, and I use that term lately, of these universities.
Yeah, Mark, I'm going to stop you right there. They're not think tanks.
Right.
They are straight up incubators for the left. So when you kind of look at the whole Soviet doctrine, dude, they got us, right? The Soviets embedded in the universities, they got these lefties in there. And in turn, we're reaping that garbage.
Yeah.
Where we don't have critical thinking anymore here in the US. And you're like, oh, Rick, you've lost your mind. Really? Go out to a restaurant. Take a look around. How many people are actually conversating? They're not. They're all in their stupid boxes getting indoctrinated with whatever garbage they're looking at. And I'm going to go back to something we were talking with the patrons earlier. Parents, man, sit down at the dinner table, put them phones away, lock them up, right? Have conversations with your kids, have conversations with your spouse. Hey, man, if you're in that place of family to deep dive on some politics and get some stuff, why not, right? But we have to have the conversations. And the thing is, to me, the text conversations, things can get lost, things can get misconstrued. Where verbally, hey, I say this, you think I said that, it can quickly be corrected, readjusted. But if we're not talking, right, that's critical. And then the other part of this is this whole social media cancer we got going on out there. That's just a straight propaganda box, right? You're not having a conversation. There's too much manipulation on there. There's too much control on the social side. Oh, so if you're a conservative, we're going to sit there and deactivate your platform. You're a firearms training company, deactivate, right? Like all this oppression goes on. You have to have the conversations. And granted, it's me and Mark kind of expressing our ideas to you guys. And again, with this live, it's open. Hey, if you guys are tuned in, let us know if you got any comments. Hey, stick them in. We'll try to address them. But the thing is, we have to get going as a country and start talking to our fellow Americans, start talking to our family members, start talking to our friends. Don't get suckered by social, and go, oh, I've got umpteen gazillion friends on Facebook. Cool. Schmuckles X. How many kids they got? But I don't know. When was the last time you talked to them? But I don't know. What's their phone number? But I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's a fake sense of being connected. It's not. If you have, and I've said this time and time again, if you've got 3 to 5 close-knit friends that are in your close circle, dude, you're blessed. Conversate with them, pick up the phone, have conversations, bounce things off. Hey, man, Mark, you go to the gym today? No. Get your ass to the gym, right? I fire like help each other out. And if we would just start doing that, things would start rolling. But when we first started the podcast, we really weren't, we kind of treaded lightly on the whole political thing. You don't want to stir waves, you don't want to do it. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Right. And I think what you're going to see, and I hated, to see the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but I think Charlie's memory is going to live so much more in stemming this conversation, in getting people to talk. And I think that's where his legacy is going to live on. Who's going to pick up the reins and run with it? I don't know. I don't know that anybody will ever be at his level going to these incubators trying to have the conversations with these kids. But I can tell you this from at least On the Range podcast, Warhawk Tactical side, yeah, we're gonna have the conversations.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got to call things out, give you my opinions. Hey, here's the receipts for what we know. Let's do some critical thinking, and let's move on from there.
Yeah. Those conversations that he would have, like you said, these young folks with these cell phones, they pretty much come up in a world where they're not interacting and socializing where people are, face to face. They're doing it through video games, they're doing it through the social media spaces, the chat rooms and all these other things. And when you are face to face with someone that you're having a discussion with, whether it be pleasant or not, what you say matters because it's either going to, let's be frank, it's either going to get a slap across your face
Yeah.
or they're going to have a rebuttal or something that they can say that everybody else can hear that makes your argument, you know, less.
Hmm.
It's tearing down your argument because they're saying able to speak and everybody else can hear what they're saying. And if they're just tearing apart your argument, these folks aren't equipped to handle that.
No.
They aren't. They're throwing fits. They're screaming in classrooms.
Hmm.
They're acting like children because they've never had to have a conversation with people who are face to face, and now they're grown-ups and they're in school. And then you have these administrations in these schools and the faculty who are not wanting to upset anybody to the point where they're
Hmm.
allowing them to be criminals. And it's just a recipe for disaster. And you're right. This is right out of the communism playbook that they started in the 50s.
Yeah.
And they're right. Probably took a little bit longer than they thought to get to this point. But it only took a couple of generations and here we are.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people that, this anxiety stuff and all these emotional problems that they have with just doing normal tasks about going up to asking someone about a car that's for sale. They're they just can't do it. And they go to these spaces where nobody's going to either challenge their ideas or challenge what they're doing if they're acting criminal or not. And it's unbelievable. You see it all over the place. Look at these police videos. These
Yeah.
people act like they're children.
Well, and part of the problem with that, right? And I'm glad you kind of brought up the law enforcement side, is you have these people acting like children. Okay. And then let's think about this for a minute. The old spit bags, right? So if you're one of these people like to spit on law enforcement officers, they got these little sacks they'll slap on your head to basically the spit goes caught in the bag back in your face. But really?
I know.
Spitting on another human being? For what? Because you got busted, you got arrested, you're acting like a jackhole. And then the classic, for all you ladies out there that have the name Karen, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
dude, Karen is pretty much the term you're using for these women that's out of control. And golly, I mean, what drives us to that point where you're sitting there hooping and hollering and what comes out of your mouth, and especially on the law enforcement interaction side, can either get you that ticket, get you arrested, or you can go about your business, have a nice day.
Yeah.
How about we just be nice and polite to people? That's a novel concept. But we have gotten so jankily argumentative. I don't even know if jankily is a word, but I'm going to throw it out there. Argumentative on everything. Okay, I'm not saying we can't have an argument, but it should be a conversation, right? And then I should be able to articulate my points. So, prime example, you see some of these videos out there, interaction with law enforcement. What's your problem, copper?
Yeah.
Versus, yes, sir. No, sir. Wow. Some manners. So where has that been lost if these people think they're entitled, and that's what it boils down to, entitled, they've been incubated to think that way. How about
Yeah.
we incubate people to be critical thinkers? How do we incubate people to have conversations? How do we incubate to have people act like good people?
Well,
But
they're being raised in environments where there's absolutely zero accountability and 100% zero consequences.
yeah.
There's no consequences for any of these things that any of these folks are doing when they were younger, and now they're adults and they don't know how to handle it. So you're really not doing anybody any favor by not allowing their children to be upset or, mad because they didn't get something. You're doing them a horrible disservice when they get older.
Mhm.
Not being able to to go into a social setting just simply because you don't have the tools to do it is absolutely devastating to your young people that you're raising and then sending out into the world. That's if they even make it out into the world.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But hey, we can sit there and say it all you want, but kind of pivoting to the point about the lack of conversations and the things that occur when people lose control and they act on rhetoric that they're listening to or buying into. The folks who are pushing those things, Rick, we talked about this with the crew members. We are live right now, behind the scenes live production with our crew members, and they are able to chat about it. But these folks who are pushing this rhetoric about Nazism, fascism, and all these other things, and it's all coming from the left.
Mm-hmm.
They're shocked just like normal people are. They're shocked that this occurred. But why are they actually shocked? Why would you be shocked if someone who's a lunatic acts upon what you are saying over and over and over and over? Why are you upset? Why are you shocked by it? Because if this was turned around, what would be going on right now in all major cities? There would be fires.
Oh
There
yeah.
would be looting. There would be people
Right.
getting injured and
Yeah.
people getting murdered. That's what would be happening. Be carjackings and everything would be shut down if this happened to someone who was out there exercising the right to speech and having normal conversations with college kids on the left. If they were
Mm-hmm.
doing this, all the major cities in this country would be burning.
Yeah. But you bring up a great point, Mark, right? We throw out words like fascist and Nazi.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a definition. They can't. We can't even tell in this country what's a woman, right? So when you can't even define what a woman is, and then we start using all this crap that we've been indoctrinated with, and you try to spout that as your answer, you got to sit there and scratch your head and go, what's wrong with us?
Yeah.
Well, that's proof in itself. If mere words come out of your mouth and you can't articulate the why or the definition, that's your number one fail point. So, I love you get all these people, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi. Okay. What's a fascist? Right? Like, so I played the game one time. I finally got called a fascist online, and I merely asked, well, what's a fascist? And it's like, couldn't even give me an answer. Right? How about just go Google it, copy, paste, send, right? At least look halfway educated. You go figure out what it means. Oh, there you go, buddy.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I think that's one of the big reasons why Charlie Kirk's discussions, as orderly as they may have been,
Hmm.
he would just dismantle some of the things that people would say. There was times where Charlie Kirk would actually say, "Hey, you know what? That's a valid point."
Sure.
He was fair to them, and he was nice to them. And to be fair to most of the folks that debated with him, they were nice back. So, but
Sure.
I don't want to, be misrepresenting that all the people that debated with him were what we're describing. But when these ideas get dismantled, like, I think that's we talked about this yesterday. A lot of people, dislike Joe Rogan style long form conversations with folks that are representing them going on there
Hmm.
because it doesn't hold up to critical thought. Many of the
Hmm.
things don't hold up to critical thought. There's example after example. Bernie Sanders, like his economy stuff and this oligarchy stuff and give everything to these folks, and it just doesn't hold up. And he had to admit that multiple times. It just was embarrassing. And there's a reason why Kamala didn't go on the show. No matter what, she was never going on that show. They tried to spin it the way they could.
Yeah.
That's why they just don't like these kinds of conversations with someone who is prepared and to talk about it, and they just get dismantled. And instead of rethinking what they're saying, they want to start taking shots at folks.
Because that's easy, right?
Exactly.
For me to, that is grade school playground freaking games, right? Oh, you don't like somebody, call somebody a name.
Right.
Really? You're an adult. Let's start acting like an adult. Let's have a conversation. And getting on there, there is no way old Kamala could have ever got on there because she can't hold a thought for nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Yet, and I ask my fellow Americans, especially those of you on the left hand side, what qualities did you see in that crew there? I mean, it was like Biden, okay. I don't know where the 20 plus million people that voted for in the first go around bailed the second go around, right? We won't get into that. But it's like you expect out of your leaders, and let's look at Trump, for example, say what you want, love him, hate him. He's not afraid, unscripted, to get in front of whoever and have a conversation. And
100%. That's
and
one of
he's
his
got
strengths, I think.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and the thing is, like, with your politicians, this is the part that kills me. You can have it's like they all want to die in these hills. They don't want to change their opinion. I would rather have the guy that gets elected into office and you sit there and go, hey, my stance is on X. Okay, Roger that. If he changes his mind, it's okay. As long as he can articulate, yeah, I supported this. Okay, here's a prime example. Yeah, I was for this whole green energy thing. But then I found out, oh man, China's got the sweatshops going there. Replacement batteries for your car is going to cost X amount more. The grid can't handle it, right? I got it. Now you're articulating to your constituents, I thought it was a good idea, but really, when I started getting the information, it's not. It
Yes.
briefs well, it executes poorly.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. As a matter of fact, I think I know so. As me as a voter, the way I would feel about it, and this is, my opinion, if someone on the left side of the aisle who was acting like that and critically breaking apart policy that I thought I was for, I would 100% think that that would be a good person to have in Congress, even though I'm not, you know, generally on that side of the aisle. But
Mhm.
that's what they can't understand. Not only do they not understand the policies enough to argue about it critically and effectively with other people who are at least, schooled enough to know what they're talking about, they don't even care. It's
No.
just it's identity politics, and it's also politics on the side of whatever side they're on, and they can rally together. I'll give it to them, but they're hurting their own folks and their own constituency. They don't care. They don't care. They will vote for anything that comes down the pike that their party's supposed to support. Not all of them. Not all of them. But man, they just won't come off of it. They're not willing to change policy. And they're not really to
It
critical look at it and say, hey, man, this is just bad policy. They're just not able to do it.
but see, Mark, I think it's so much further than that, right? It's
Probably.
not
Yeah.
take the critical thinking out. Let's just remove that from the Dems for 1 second. When you look at their actions. So during the State of the Union,
Yeah.
you've got a 13-year-old boy, brain cancer survivor. You can't stand up for him. You have a widow of a law enforcement officer murdered. You can't stand up for him. You got an American that was repatriated back to this country. You can't stand up for him.
No.
For what? Right? So that right there, and I'll say it now, I'm entitled to my opinion. That is your anti-American show right there.
Yeah.
I should be joyous. Hey, man, I don't care if I'm living on the street, right? Hey, Mr. Billionaire, providing he's doing the right thing. If you're with Big Pharma, go piss off. But hey, man, you're successful. You came from the same place I did. Hey, you got all kinds of money, living a successful life. Great. But what are you doing to give back? Right? What are you doing to help that next generation or help those people around you? And I'm not talking just giving out free money and doing that other stuff. How do we basically mold this next generation to sit there and go, how can we get better? So if we have this concept, if I can find this world better than when I came into it, how much better off will we be as society? Hey, if I can have a conversation with somebody, am I going to convince everybody on my thoughts or on my values? Nope. But I'm open to have the conversation. And that's why I said before, dude, like we had, Wesley Hunt on, we're having a conversation, right? We're okay, cool. Hey, I'm not clearly seeing this. Hey, classic. What's when you think things are going to change? He's like, hey, be patient. The chef's in the kitchen cooking. Okay,
Yeah.
Roger that. Great analogy, but dude, it's like bring somebody like AOC on. I'd love to have AOC on the show and go, let's have the talk. How do you see this? Right? What are you seeing through, in my opinion, your skewed lens to even come up with these ideas? Where does this stuff even come from? I would love to ask, why could you not stand up for a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor?
Yeah. Why do you have to be so inhuman or so lacking in patriotism? Why?
How about compassion?
Yeah.
Right?
Why do you have to empathy? Why do you have to have
Empathy.
those lack of things?
Yeah.
Because it's shoved down our throats when our policy on the right side of I shouldn't say our policy. The policy on the right is being pushed,
Mhm.
in a national security sense. But you know, sometimes some of these folks just have to go back. They're criminals, and
Yeah.
we're inhuman and all this other stuff. No, we want our people to be safe as well.
Yeah. You want Team USA to be
Yeah.
the top dog,
Yes.
right? And it was funny, we were kinda talking, I can't remember if it was with uh, the crew members last night, but to me, it all boils down to sports and i.e. individuals participating in sports. Because think about it. When we grew up, man, if you got an L in that column, what were you doing? You were working harder. I need those W's in there. What are we doing as a team to get stronger, to get faster, to do whatever it is we're going to do? And that's what we lack. So in turn, you don't have that patriotism, you don't have that drive, you don't have that compassion. All these things, conversations, versus me going up going, "Mark, you suck." What's that doing? That's doing nothing,
Yeah.
right? "Hey, Mark, check it out. If you were to shift this, that, the other, do this, this, and this. Hey, man, let's go get in the gym and get you stronger. Do whatever it is that you're doing." That's where we're going to see gains. But this just name calling, dude, that's grade school playground stuff.
Yeah. We just want to mention one thing that we are talking about. We can't not speak about this stuff, even though we are, here to really be better as individuals, and that includes the
Mhm.
firearms training notebook and being 1% better every day. But go check that out. You go to onrangepodcast.com and it'll be a link right to it. Just see if that would help you in your firearms journey. We know it will. If you're not tracking your data, you're not getting effective planning for your next live fire or dry fire session. But Rick, this stuff is so important. It's so important because if you are unable to have any kind of critical thought at all because you're towing the party line, or you just don't like what they're saying because you don't believe in what someone else is saying,
Mhm.
then your conversation is pretty much going to be done with many people. So you're not going to affect any change. And the reason I say that is because if we are going to have conversations, and I'm seeing people, saying that they're celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk and all this other stuff, I'm done with you. I am
Mhm.
done with your conversation. I'm not having a conversation with you because I know how you really think. So
But
I got to ask people on the left side of the aisle, is that what you're really down with? Are you really down with what your leaders and what your influencers who are, you have a large reach and all these other things and the policies? You have to critically think about everything that they touch now. So my question is, do you think that the left leaning folks are really down with that radical stuff that they're spewing on The View? And then they think it's okay to say, well, I didn't mean that.
yeah, I think they're brainwashed to that aspect,
So you
right?
think they're completely down with all that now?
Sure.
Yeah,
I think that because
I can see
again,
that.
their actions speak louder than words. You
Yeah,
just don't wake up, right, and pull out of your head and the words come out your mouth, "Hey, man, I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead." Who says
totally
that,
agree. Totally
right?
agree. Yeah.
That's a father. That's a husband. That's somebody's son that was taken off of this planet by some whack job. So let me reverse and do some critical thinking to all those people out there celebrating this man's death.
Yeah.
What happened if it were to not you, because you're part of the problem, but to one of your family members? Hey, all of a sudden, your father, your son, your whatever gets murdered. Are you going to sit there and go, "Well, I'm glad they're dead"? Of course you're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Who celebrates death? Nobody, right? Like, it's not rational thought. I don't care how much you quote unquote hate an individual, don't like whatever the case may be. you wish ill intent and death on them, and you celebrate it.
Yeah.
It, I'm sorry, man. I think they do believe it, because why else would those words come out? Why else would you say it?
Yeah.
That's the only rational I can think. So you can sit there and call somebody, a fascist, whatever word you want. You don't even know what's coming out your mouth. But when you make the conscious effort and the words come out your mouth, I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
Come
And
on.
and for all of you who are typically voting on that side of the aisle, or for some of the folks that we're actually talking about, or along the lines of what we're talking about, you got to ask yourself, is that really what you want? Is that
Mhm.
really what you want to associate yourself with? Because I know that there's a lot of Americans out there who just believe that the policies that this current administration is just not what they want.
Mhm.
But look at what they're saying, and look at what they're doing, and look at how these radical supporters are acting. They're gunning down an innocent person for having
Yeah,
conversations with everybody, giving them a microphone. You,
sure.
these voters have got to ask themselves, is this really what I'm down with?
Mhm.
And we'll see
No,
what happens.
and I think what you're gonna see, I it's gonna be years, in my opinion, Mark, that we truly see the full impact that Charlie's gonna have. And
Yeah,
I even hate to say this, the power, I want to use the word power. He's gonna cause a change in this country, I believe, like no other. Because this is the final point, as conservative Americans, you're really not boisterous. You're not out there, even with us, right? We don't really want to get on the political thing, don't want to shake the boat, right?
right.
Afraid, oh, somebody's not going to, come to my business. You try to separate, the old religion and politics. Nope, it's done, right? That, hey, if you don't like that I'm a Christian based business, don't come train with Warhawk Tactical.
No,
Don't come to my website, right? But I'm not going to hide my faith. I'm not going to hide my political views. I'm not going to sit there and tiptoe around. Hey, man, if you don't like what I'm saying, let's have a conversation, right? Don't be the keyboard warrior and go, oh, what's this garbage? Well, obviously you can't read, because usually I try to do pretty good. If I'm putting something up, um, put some stuff in there. But then you just have people that can't think, and it's super easy to go punch out your thumb ideas, but nobody is deep diving in that critical thought.
no.
Um, I think you're going to start seeing the shift of critical thinking that much more in this country, and I hate to say it, man. It's unfortunate to happen, but it's all stemmed from Charlie.
Yeah,
Um, I think you're going to see Turning Point USA get that many more campuses on schools. I think you're going to see that organization grow that much more. The advocacy for this great country we live in, that much more. And if you're one just kind of sitting around not doing anything, you know, it starts bare bones basic. Go be a good freaking citizen and register to vote. And we don't care who you vote, right? Right, wrong, and different. That's part of it. You've got the right to get out there and cast your ballot, make a change in this country. Do some
100%.
research, do some research on them people. If they're having these town halls, try to get up there and have a conversation with these politicians. And if they're just out there can't articulate their point, probably not the person you want to be your voice at whatever level of government they're going for. So
Well, if I don't necessarily believe that people were thinking that Bernie Sanders' economic views were as horrible as they sounded on Rogan. I don't believe they thought that it sounded like that at all. They just never had a debate about it.
mhm,
He was never held to the fire as far as a conversation goes, and have to explain it. Those terrible words. Well, I don't understand what you mean. Why? Why is that true? Because this is what it looks like to me. And
yeah,
if they can't answer those simple questions, I don't know. You got to think about that, voters. That's your responsibility.
mhm.
It's not
And
Bernie Sanders' fault that you're buying everything he's saying.
no, and old Bernie man, here's the thing: you can have your whack job economic plan as you want.
Sure.
But there's some points when you go, "Oh, we're gonna put everybody on welfare," for example. Okay, cool. Who's picking up the bill?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
How's that gonna work?
Yeah.
I
Who's
really
paying?
don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah. How
Really sound like.
exactly? How
Yeah.
is that going to work? And how much critical let's think about it. How much into the weeds did we really go? We didn't. We
Zero.
merely said, "Hey, you want some type of package for everybody? Cool. Who's picking up the bill?"
I know. I
A
know. And that's just
That's not
one question. That's just one
yeah,
question.
and that's not even really critical thinking, right?
No.
That's me just going, "Hmm, hey, as an American, I have to balance my checkbook.
Yeah.
I can't run billions of dollars in the red and still have my business, have my house, have my possessions, right? Ain't gonna happen. So, yet you have a federal government that can run billions in the hole, still okay.
Yeah.
But then when you ask all these people that want to hand your money away, well, how do you plan on doing that?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
like you just stumped the chump.
yeah, it's just a simple numbers problem, and it sounded and looked horrible. And those are the kind of conversations that they want to silence. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they're talking about. It's
What
not
they don't
always the hate. It's not all these other stuff. It's all these policies that they want to run through our government and just make everybody like you and I,
Mhm.
working stiffs pay for. And
Yeah.
they just don't want to see those things go away. So they don't want to have conversations like that. So they're trying
Well,
to end those conversations.
and here's the thing, Mark, right? If you think about this, if we have critical thinkers, now when these whack jobs present whatever garbage, we can pose the question, well, how are we going to pay for that? You look at old Gavin Newsom and his bullet train that's umpteen billion dollars, still not complete, still over budget. Anyone question?
I know.
Yet how is it you're still letting these buffoons get reelected?
They have even 1 foot of track laid for that thing? I don't think
I,
they do.
I don't know if they've got any try. It was one of those you kind of hear it, doesn't affect me, don't really care,
Oh,
right?
man. Yeah.
But you feel bad
Oh,
for
god,
the people
dude.
in California
Oh,
that's
100%.
that's eating that cost.
Yeah.
You feel bad for all the people in the Palisades that had their house burned down because of the
Mhm.
little smelt fish because you don't want to sit there and put water in the reservoirs, right? Like it's a complete incompetency,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we don't hold anyone accountable. And then you find out, dude, everything. I think there was $100 million raised, for the poor people in the Palisades. You know how much money those people got? Nothing,
Yeah.
because it all went to these nonprofits, went to all these crooks.
Yeah.
Um, but man, you guys have to question. You have to get things going. You have to ask the why. If somebody can't give you the why, suspect. No
Yeah.
different when we're out at the range, Warhawk Tactical Kelly Defense. I
Yeah.
will tell you exactly why we're teaching you this.
Yeah.
Here's the why. Just don't do it because I told you so. But that's what the left wants.
Yeah.
They want you to fall in line. Just call everyone freaking a fascist and a Nazi and just do as I tell you and vote for me next election.
Yeah.
Garbage, man.
I know. Like Rick said, make sure you visit warhog.com, kellydefense.com. It's been a crazy week, and we love talking to the crew members live. This is a live broadcast. If you want to see it, the link will be in the show notes. Um, the video will be, but if you want to get the live behind the scenes stuff, you got to become a crew member. And this was for all the crew members too. Not even the tier members got it, but the free members got it. So make sure you sign up for the crew membership over at ontheRangePodcast.com. Click that try for free and you get all the good stuff, including our training catalogs. And, this is a tough one, Rick, because the speech thing we've always said was one of those big topics that, even the Second Amendment, and we had talked about that. You've made it mention many a times that now we know why it is number one.
Yeah.
And that's what they're attacking, man. That's what they are attacking all the time. And now they've actually manifested into these direct action events, unfortunately.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we as Americans, hey man, you got to be smart. You got to know what's going on, stay abreast of current situations. And again, at the end of the day, if you have one of those elected officials just talking garbage, you know, uh, listen, I'm going to give you a little insight into DC. If you call up to your representative or your senator, whoever picks up the phone is just the crony, right? Ask to speak to the scheduler. Talk to the scheduler. Say, hey, I want to get on, my representative, my senator's schedule for a conversation, right? Just don't voice your complaints to whoever the crony is sitting at the desk, and nothing against you guys sitting at the desk, right? But they're just tally ticking. Your mail's not really truly getting delivered. Ask to speak to the scheduler. Get on that schedule. Have that conversation.
Yeah. And speaking about conversations, the show's going to continue on the crew members page. And if you want to get it, you have to become a crew member. Like I said, crew members stand by. The show continues on the crew members page.
For the rest of you guys, don't forget, train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you on the range.
All right, welcome back, crew members. Before I forget, Joseph, Diamond Dog, Dan, thanks for the comments and joining in while we were on the chat. I know there was probably more watching. I didn't really keep track of that, but great show, Rick. Great show, buddy.
There's a quick question that I want to, kind of address here. Was the Cold War era worse than today? Man, it was both interesting times, right? I think it's worse today, and here's why. So during the Cold War, there was a defined enemy, i.e. the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't think we were smart enough to realize how much infiltration the Soviets were doing and how much divide, especially when it came to race, the Vietnam War, things like that were going on. But when we look at today, I think it's worse today, and here's why. The censorship machine is in your face more than ever.
Yeah.
Whether it's you, your kids, your family, those you know are more easily indoctrinated today if you allow it. So looking at it from the aspect of propaganda, not so much from military action, but just from propaganda, indoctrination.
Yep.
I think today is 100 times worse, because at least back then, okay, hey, you want to get swayed? I hear Walter Cronkite tell me, hey man, Tet Offensive, this is the turn of the war, right? We've just lost the war. Okay. Not your opinion, or that's your opinion, but you look at whether you've got Martin Luther King out there trying to get civil rights movement going on. He's assassinated. Kennedy gets assassinated. Bobby gets assassinated, right? All these people getting whacked, and you sit there and go, well, why? What was their voice? What were they? They were going against the grain, is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're starting to see that today.
Yeah, I agree. I think the big thing is the propaganda machine is, and the kids are growing up so fast with these magic boxes in their hands that it's so easy to cast a broad net and get, tens of thousands more people to buy into it that you would have back in our day. Now it did have its own, challenges. I mean, we had bomb drills in school. It's like, you had tornado drills, you have the bomb drills. We had those things. That was a real thing.
Yeah.
And yep, you had gas masks that were there and all kinds of stuff, but
fallout shelters. I mean, in the
everything.
The aspect of potential nuclear destruction was 100% there.
Yep.
But it was kept at bay because you basically had your mutual destruction. So, hey, if the Soviets were to launch their missiles, we're going to in turn launch their missiles.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to obliterate the world? So even though we were stockpiling thousands of nuclear munitions, there was that, we really weren't, what's the word I'm looking for? No one was in a rush to get it. Probably the closest time was during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
So the Russians bring in or try to bring in nuclear weapons to Cuba, 90
Yeah.
miles off of Florida.
Florida. Yeah.
We were on the brink there.
Yeah.
It was close,
It was
but
close. Yeah. But at the same time, I think you're right. It's this brainwashing that is so easily done through the the skies of social media and stuff. It is nonstop. It's constant, and they're getting them at a very young age. That's why it's even more important to do all those things that, you were talking about when we talked with the crew earlier about just spending time with your family.
yeah,
Um,
build those values now,
yeah,
because as soon as you are separated from your child, the indoctrination window, like
yeah,
you had teachers in schools praising
yeah,
the death of Charlie Kirk.
yeah,
What?
yeah,
You feel like going, let me put my baklava and ball bat on. We're gonna praise I just smashed you in the face with this ball bat. No, you're gonna be up in arms.
yeah.
It-
I'm
so
I'm going to
God,
kind of reserve thought on this individual's name who did this to Charlie, and the people around him and all this other stuff until I get some more information that I believe is credible.
mhm.
Mm, because at first I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't even imagine if that was, someone that I, you know, had some responsibility or influence over, did something like this. But I'm going to hold out on that because I'm already hearing some things that just weren't true already.
Mhm.
So but I'm not going to be easy on anybody that could have done something, that should have done something with that, you know, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
No,
know.
it's definitely, it's gonna be, I think, kind of just like the assassination attempt with Trump in Butler, PA. All right, yeah, you got the shooter,
Yeah.
and then it was just kind of quickly swept under the rug,
Yeah.
right? Nothing else ever came about. Hey, all these different things going on. Hey, what's real? What's not? What's
Yeah.
true? Um,
Yeah. It's hard to
it-
say.
dude, we live in such an information age that it can be good and bad. So you're readily access to information. However, what's true, what's not, who's
Yeah.
pumping a narrative, who's not. Um, Sometimes I don't know we'll ever know the truth in certain things.
Right.
So, but the one thing I do know is the murder of Charlie Kirk is going to get this country using his own name in the aspect of turning point for this country to start stepping up to the plate as Americans and having these conversations.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
you're entitled to your opinion without a doubt, but don't call me a fascist without even knowing what a fascist is.
yeah.
So,
Right. Okay, crew members, hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes stuff. This audio and video will be going out. Video a little bit longer, so the crew members get some exclusive access to that. But the audio will be going out probably either tomorrow or Friday morning. So, all right, crew members, stay safe and see you next time. Oh, by the way, the tier levels that get the group video call, that is up. So go check that out. If you missed it, you weren't able to make the call. If you have the all access tier member or the uniform services tier member, go ahead and check that out. Free trial members get it. Go give that
yeah,
a shot. But everybody have a great day, and we will see you soon in the crew membership page. That's where all
there
the
you
good
go.
stuff is. See you guys.
Bam. All right.